Welcome back to Grape Soda Travels, a midweek video this week, and today we're going to be talking about power. Not that kind of power. Naomi's out for the day, so I'm going to show you this. It's the P110 1200 watt portable power station from Aferiy. So we've been thinking about power banks for a little while now, but we weren't really sure exactly what we wanted to get, and we weren't really sure exactly what it was we needed. And if you are looking at these things, then actually working out exactly what you need can sometimes be the hardest decision. So if it's something that you're contemplating, then hopefully this video is useful. But then a couple of weeks before we went off on our last tour, our trip to Northern Ireland, the folks at Aferiy reached out and said, would we like to try this? And we said yes, we would. So let's start with specifications. What could it do? In terms of power, 960 watt hours up to 1200 watts of power output. We'll come back to what that actually means in reality in a little bit. 4 methods of charging. You can charge the device itself by AC, by solar, from the car, well, in this case the van, through the cigarette lighter, or you can use a combination of AC and solar together. Charge up to 12 devices at once. Got USB-C, both 20 watt and 100 watt if devices support, USB-A, 12 volt socket and standard UK 3-pin plug sockets on the side, so plenty of space to charge your devices, and it comes with a quite impressive 7-year manufacturer's warranty. The batteries inside this thing are lithium iron phosphate batteries, and it's got its own battery management system built in, which might sound like a lot of technical mumbo jumbo and jargon, but what it really means is it's good for stability, reliability, efficiency and safety. This will give you over 3,500 charge-discharge cycles, so that, along with a 7-year warranty, means this should last you a long time. So it arrived very well packaged. You get your cables and accessories, you get a quick start guide, you get the device itself. You can get solar panels for it, but that doesn't come with it as standard, and we haven't got any solar panels for it yet, but something we might look at in the future. They recommend that you give it a full charge-discharge cycle before you really start using it. So it was on about 27% battery, I think, when we first powered it up. We charged it up to 100%. It said it would take about 83 minutes, and it was pretty spot on. It took about 83 minutes to charge from 27 up to 100%. We then used it for the week. Bit of charging phones, but mostly powering Naomi's work laptop. Got it down to 0, and then did another full charge up to 100%. That time from 0 it said it was going to take about 2 hours. Again, pretty spot on. It took about 2 hours to charge from 0 up to 100. Sometimes just rattling off specifications can be a little bit confusing and doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but essentially the higher the output wattage, the more powerful devices you're going to be able to run with your power station. And if you look on the Aferiy website, you'll see their product range goes from the small 100 watt nano all the way up to a 3,600 watt beast that's on wheels and you can drag around like a suitcase. But we've got the P10, so let's show you what it can power. Okay, this might not work. Start with something simple, my iPhone, see how it gets on with that. The grand total of 6 watts of power, it will run for 57 hours. I think my phone will charge in that time. Test number 2, drone batteries. See how it does. Drawing 17 watts of power, will run for 34 hours. Time to up the ante a bit. This is the Chromebook that we use to manage and back up our SD cards. It's currently drawing 21 watts. Will run for 20 hours. And for this I'm actually using the AC power rather than plugging it via USB. Now believe it or not, I don't have hair straighteners or a hairdryer, but if you do have like a travel sized hairdryer, they're normally somewhere between 800 to 1200 watts, so it should be good for that too. Just here, editing this video, because there's one other function that I haven't mentioned yet, and that's the UPS function. If you're not aware of UPS, it means uninterrupted power supply, and if you're using it in this mode, you'd have the power bank plugged into the mains, your laptop or PC plugged into the power bank. It would run off the mains, but if anything happens to that power supply, power cut or something like that, you've got the power bank there to keep things running, which would have been really useful about a week ago when I was editing a video, the power went off in the house and the computer suddenly came to a grinding halt. At least if I'd had the UPS, it would have given me a chance to save all the work down and close the computer down properly, and probably stop a lot of swearing. So what do we think? On the whole, really impressed. Not really a brand we'd heard of before in terms of power stations and some of the more well-known players in that field, but functionality wise, does what you need, get quite a lot for your money. It certainly did everything we needed on our first trip over in Northern Ireland. I'm sure we'll make more of it in the future as we work out how we can benefit from it. So far, up until now, most of our stays have been on campsites with electric hookup, but certainly our future plans include spending a lot more time off grid, and I'm sure at that point this will really start to come into its own. And if you don't have something like this from a power point of view, you're obviously limited by the locations of the power sockets in your van, but when you've got something like this, you can move the power around, you can power anything anywhere, even use it outside, and we found that really useful too. One of the things that we were struggling to decide when we were initially thinking about power banks was how much power do we need? And I think if we hadn't have got this, we'd have probably ended up going for something that was slightly lower wattage output, which would have probably been fine. But actually, now having had this, I'm actually quite glad we've got the 1200 watts and gone a little bit higher. It just gives you a few more options and a little bit more flexibility. And you know what? I think I might even start using it around the house for some things as well, which is something we probably wouldn't be able to do if we'd gone for one of the lower wattage outputs. So would we recommend the P110 power station from Aferiy? Yes, we would. If you're interested, if you want any more information, check out their website, have a look at this or the rest of their product range. And if you do want to buy anything, we've got a couple of discount codes that will give you a little bit extra off the price. All details and links in the description below. Thanks for watching. Hope you found that useful. And again, if you are thinking of buying, check out the description and those discount codes to give you a little bit more off. But that's it for now. Normal service will resume in our next video, so why don't you check that out, see what we get up to.